that's good to go. And this is good to go. Right. Okay. I think we're basically good to go. So, I am going to be reading off 3 different chapters from the one of the books I'm writing, which is called Death Calling. It's actually this. It was going to be the second book to last fall, like the sequel, but it's with how it's planned and written. It's going to be an easier book to write for me, and it's going to be the fourth book. The fourth book instead of the second book in the series. So I'm just going to be reading off 3 of the chapters. I'm not doing any major edits, only if I see something that needs editing. But this is like, the whole point of me streaming is to promote the book. So I haven't done that in a while, and this is to help that. So, so we'll begin with, this is like gonna be the 3rd chapter in the entire book. And I'm only reading stuff from the 4th part of the book. It's segmented into 3 parts. This is the 4th part, so the next 3 chapters I read are all from the 4th part of the book. So, and I usually have like a name at the top to say who is speaking. The character who is speaking right now is Tabby, and so we'll just begin. And I'm not including the earlier half because it has too much walk I need to walk on to make it look good. So I mean, at least this is legible or readable, whatever you want to call it. So so this is from Tabby's perspective. So why is it doing that? So shaking his head, shaking his head, he shows up without notice, and that does concern me. He looked troubled, but I have no time to think more about that. Instead, I reminisced with him, thinking that would be, let's see, and that would be better use of my time before I go out for my daily parade. I watch him leave so she's talking about Godric. Godric is like her adopted younger brother. So I watch him leave as I head for the beaded doorway. And this is taking place during like the Middle Ages, kind of. And so they're in like straw and like wood buildings. If you've listened to my video of Both of Vermont story, you get more of an understanding of this. I'll probably put it in the description, at least on YouTube. I'm not sure how to do that on Twitch. But so I watch him leave as I head for the beaded doorway, and leaving on to a stage with 2 other girls wearing matching get-ups, but different color variants. While mine is blue and gold, theirs are pink and yellow, and green and white. Intricately woven trimmings of gold, yellows, and whites on our individual belly dancer costumes. The dim candlelight burning around the room, many rowdy men swigging beer watch us as we perform for their entertainment. In the back I see the usual bunch, 3 men I know all too well, as they tend to get fresh with us. My two dancing mates have gone back with them, yet every time they approach me between breaks while we solve them beer, their hands get frisky. I've gotten great at standing up to them, George, Olaf, and Jobly. Our dance continues a while longer as I also see Godric sneaking his way in, a cloak over his head, never wanting to be far from me. Something more, something more must be troubling him, as he's never shown himself out front during my nights without having a clear reason for it. Maybe I should have let him speak instead of telling him about how I found him. Um, he stays far away from the stage, even though I can see him from the corners of my eyes. Our dancing done for a bit, I walk up to Octavia to grab a tray of 3 beers as he points at the 3. Give them the usual sass. He's a slim man, sickly looking almost, but very kind to all of those walking under him. 10 in all, a few boys even do dances, but they're saved for later in the night when degenerates show up. Right now it's rather a lively bunch as we haven't quite hit midnight. Making my way to George, Olaf, and Jobly, I know they all are from the same guild, one that Jobly made, the Plagued Hearts, a rather unseemly bunch that steals from royalty on the side, yet the knights let it slip. So a big part of it is there are knights in the story, so again, if you listen to the Birth of a Monster chapter I read off a few weeks ago, well, maybe a month or two ago, you get a better understanding of that. George slips his hand onto my butt as I get close, and I swat it away, placing the drinks on the table quickly before Olaf rests a hand on my shoulder. Why not stay longer, little missy? The other girls are fine with that. I won't degrade myself, I tell him, and Jobly looks at me. You're the only one of the bunch that none of us have slept with. I'm keeping it that way. I'm not a toy, I tell them as I shake Olaf's hand from my shoulder. I can see Godric staring at us when Jobly looks to him and smiles. You already have yourself a man? More like a kid, brother, I blurt out before leaving. Walking past the swinging doors there that lead inside as a ruckus outside makes me fall silent as I stare into the streets beyond. So, a side note is like I'm a big fan of Higurashi and like Attack on, well, not so much Attack on Titan, but the idea is still there, and so things are gonna get graphic, is what I'm saying. Let's see. The lamppost draining the last bit of oil, a group of forms that look like dogs roam together coming down the street, some splitting off through alleys as if coordinated. As the shadows from the diminishing lamps light them, I see striped skin, black and white, their forms thin as they crawl on four limbs. Four, it's supposed to be four. As they crawl on 4 limbs, their heads lengthy as I fright. Turning back, never having seen one myself, there are rumors of them. Bloodthirsty, what was I saying? Bloodthirsty beasts that tend to remain on the outskirts of Normandy, something like that. A city closer to the sea than all the way inland here. Daughters of Oberlin, I half shout as the room falls silent, and a few of the men, once drunk now sober, stand, swords drawn, as some of them rush past me and into the streets. A cry is heard as I duck back inside the building, finding Godric as soon the room is filled with a nauseous gas. A few of them have face masks which they quickly place on, while the rest of us are left with a horrible coughing fit as many more rush outside for fresh air. In the panic, I inhale a large amount of the clearly poisonous gas as the daughters make their way into the bar, biting at those trying to fight them, and while some are cut, the numbers are too large, and they seem to be coming from every entryway. Where's the night watch? Yep. Okay, where's the night watch? Let's see. So Godric picks me up and carries me on his shoulder while dodging the chaos. We pass one of the guards that was on the stage with me not long before, struggling to pull the jaws of one of the daughters off her stomach while it chomps down harder to a loud scream from her. The thing's eyes are green and slits, watching us on stalks, looking frustrated by not being able to attack us quite yet, while it has prey struggling in its mouth. I see acid dripping out of its mouth, literally burning away her flesh. As bone becomes visible, she cries and struggles as she sees us passing, a silent pleading, but I can't do anything. Still struggling to breathe the air inside here, burning my lungs, nor does Godric stop to help anyone else as we rush up to the second story. Let's see. With the lower floor in a panic, the daughters, so these things are called daughters of Oblin, just to make that clear. Making their way further inside as he gets me to the balcony while going back inside. Something changing in him as he raises a hand, and I spot leaving it and spearing some of the daughters as they try to ascend the steps. Meanwhile, I feel myself losing strength as I gasp at the clean air outside, my insides burning even more as black drool pours from my mouth. Something is happening to me. Godric backing up to the balcony with me as I see what he's trying to do. Every bolt he launches at the creature, a horrendous screams leaves them as they fall back down the stairs, yet too many continue to climb over their fallen. I see his arm beginning to glow once more. His magic is making his body glow like I thought. Below, the city seems to have been overrun by these creatures. Many of the night goers are fighting with them. They seem easy enough to kill, but because of the numbers, many of them are swarmed, eaten on the spot. The town may not make it. My sight blurring, I'm having trouble remaining on my feet as I slump over, watching Godric trying to protect me. He looks over his shoulder with a shocked expression, and I can't help. What is going on? I'm pretty sure I'm dying. Flee the city, I tell him in short breaths. Run, forget about us. Save yourself, your song, you'll survive. He doubles down, the board's growing larger, and I crawl towards him, climbing his body in my weakened state and pulling his cloak that covers his face down, making him stare at me. Do as your sister tells you, leave. But my black jewel splatters on his cloak as the candlelight within goes out. Not sure what I was saying there. Again, all this is like 4 seconds after. It does need a bit of editing. Now the only light being shown is coming from his glowing skin. This world is cruel. My parents died protecting people. I don't want the same for you. I look down as a hole has formed on my stomach, liquid falling from it as he gets it now. I can't be saved anymore. I inhaled too much of the noxious gas. So these daughters of Oblin just produce this noxious gas. Please, Godric, save yourself. Stay strong. Survive. Tears are rising in his eyes, down his face, and I slump over on my side now, breathing shallowly, the hold growing larger, and my body becoming growing cold. He drops to the floor, still staring at me, as if he wants to stay with me, but I close my eyes and smile. Remember, remembering our times of fun together, as even the sound of chaos around us dwindles to night more than a hum. Dwindles to night. Again, rough draft, we'll get through it. I'm soon greeted with a kaleidoscope of people, of scenes, and thousands of talking voices as I intuitively know them to be future lives. My parents arise before the scenes, before me, both charming and beckoning me forward. I am hesitant in the darkness that surrounds me, staring at them as I know I have truly died. Godric appears by my side as the small boy I foresaw him as he takes my hand in his, leading me towards them with a smile on his cheeks, happy and excited. So then we switch over to Godric's perspective. Yeah. Oh wow, this is a long chapter. So we're now at Godric's perspective. And I'm doing 3 chapters. I'm going to be reading off 3 of these things. Growing stoic before my fallen sister, I glare at the horde, the headache ensuing and my body's light brightening. I raise both hands now as a wave of pressure is sent out. The horde of daughters are blasted back through the flimsy wood struts of the home as I hear cries all around me. Rushing down the steps, now free, a daughter rushes me as I sidestep it, grabbing hold of its curved tail. So it's a line and then a curved tail. It's kind of like a scorpion. That's what they look like. And they're very thin. Let's see. Grabbing hold of its curved tail and swinging it over my head, slamming it down hard on the ground as its entrails are splattered. So I told you I like Higurashi and Attack on Titan, so it gets bloody. Leaving its mouth, its eyes rolled back in its stalk, the acid already eating through the wooden floor, and I raise my hand to see my skin has melted. Nothing but a nub as that heals quickly, first bone, then muscle, then flesh. I clench my fist, testing it. I didn't know I had this kind of power within me as I rush forward and out of the building, past many others as they all do battle. Grabbing a sword from a body, more of the daughters come down the street. I swing, never having held a sword before. It does its simple job. The daughters that leap at me get cut in half. Turning to face where it falls, I see its 2 separate sections thrash and struggle before new heads form, similar to my regeneration abilities. But I don't want to see if I get 2 of myself through the same method. They come at me as I stab the sword into the ground, preferring a more direct approach as I whisper spells and coat my fist in air pockets, punching the first one as hard as I can, sending it into its other half. I dash at the 2 now and grab both of their mouths before. So they have like large mouths, so he can grab them. And plus, you need to imagine this story as if it's a cartoon, because it's supposed to be a cartoon. It's not like it's like a really detailed cartoon. So like think Vinland Saga or like Attack on Titan. It's like anime, but it's even more so. It's more detailed. I don't know how to explain it otherwise. But I'm not describing live action crap. I don't like live action stuff all that much. So this is supposed to be seen as a cartoon, to the best of my ability. So you can do cartoony crap in it. Let's see. So what was he doing? So I grab both of their mouths before they can open them, but gas is already leaking out, and I force air into them. So he's like basically blowing these two things up like balloons. Air into them like bladders. They both fill as their eyes widen, and they both explode into acid rain, which spawns at my clothing and hair. I turn back toward the town, now determined to save them all. Scrabbles, something. Okay. All hushed as fights see me passing by them all. Should a dawdle come at me, I simply point a finger and fire erupts out, burning everything. I get to an opening, amplifying my voice as it waves and echoes through the village, and like a magnet the dawdles are drawn toward me, away from the others. I see beyond my sight all of them. So he's using like omnipresence at this point. I see beyond my sight all of them heading towards me in droves as I raise my hands, much like I did to the dawdle earlier. So he's recalling a earlier event because he found one of these wandering around and he launched it into the lake. There was a lake close by, so that's what he did. A sinister smile comes to my face as my sister's death appears before me. They will surely pay, so he's seeking revenge. The headache dulled, but that's more because of the rest of my body. Because of the rest of my body is glowing. I can see my skeleton underneath my skin as they are risen, and I see the other men making their way to where all the daughters are gathering. A bubble forming before me as the first daughter gets sucked into it. Gas fills the bubble quickly as more and more of them are sucked inside and churning within the air currents. So it basically formed a bubble and is sucking up all the daughters close by. Some of the citizens getting too close start to get poured in as well. I glare at a group of armored men, in particular Jobly, Cotton, and Olaf, who are near one of the lanterns that has gone out. The fire burning from the nearby cottage is light enough as the smoke from it is sucked into the bubble. With that, Cotton starts to lift off the ground as well, and Jobly and Olaf both link themselves with the lantern post. I can deal with them later. So part that I forgot to include, which is why I need to do edits on it, is that these three are technically the people who released the daughters into the town, and why they're whatever. So his main goal is to eradicate the daughters. The bubble growing inside to fit them all, as fit them all in as I'm laughing by hearing the throng of screams within. Others around me gawk as they've never witnessed anything like this, nor have I. I have no idea where I'm drawing this power from. These abilities are godlike. I now open my mouth, whispering another spell as sparks fill my mouth, and I open it wide at the bubble of the daughters, unable to move to free themselves. Stuck inside of their own acidic gases, I spew forth flames which are caught in the bubble, churning as the screams are intensified, and I wait till the whole bubble is engulfed by them before I compress it to nothing more than a speck. As I release the bubble, their bodies and entrails spreading over the village, acid raining down, and Jobdi gets some on his bare skin close by. Uh, Meanwhile, the village burns, and I whispered quickly in tongues as a storm brews high above before a quick lightning strike by way of my direction pierces the thundercloud, and rain begins to fall over the lands. Uh, with smoke leaving my mouth as I stare up at the darkening skies, the morning dawns, and I feel dizzy as I take a few steps forward before collapsing where I am. Exhausted but also very cold. I close my eyes and I recall my sister. We're beneath the lean-to behind Miss Gloria's home, and she has my head on her lap, humming a sweet tune as I struggle with the headaches I had experienced as a kid, my skin glowing, but soon fade as I let out a breath of relief. Tabby, we should leave this village, I echoed to her. So, that is the first of the 3 chapters I'm going to share with you. So I can exit out of this. I think we're doing this chapter next. It's going to automatically open up. Yes. So, this is a few years later. What did I do? So this is a few years later. Alex. Perception. And again, we're gonna get bloody. It's a bit shorter, so let's see. The groveling Gog, a long forgotten and ruined castle laid siege by the Swan Legion. That should be capitalized. The Swan Legion are kind of like the main force in this first part of the story of Death Calling. Laid siege by the Swan Legion hundreds of years ago during the previous king's reign. King Grain, with dark woods surrounding the castle. No one comes here aside from the plague hearts. Jobly having returned triumphant and a carriage drawn by a horse. I don't see the 2 others who went out with him during the mission, Geen and Dahmer, although Jordan has returned, lying atop the carriage roof. I foresaw as much as I rested in my derelict room, my eyes closed. I watched them through some magical omnipresence I've developed since that vision where I saw that snake, the Orblin, that terrorized Normandy, dead as a pile of flesh. I reminisce on the night that it attacked. That Tabby instilled in me my code, my very essence, survive, live at all costs, and I did, shooting an ice bolt into the Orblin as the Swan Knights led it away from the town. We went into hiding shortly after. So, I haven't wrote like what has said in this part, but I probably will at some future point. Let's see. Okay, so we're not even including this because this doesn't happen. Now here I lie as I witness both Geen and Dahmer get easily taken out while Jobly and Jordan take out the light guards that kept the carriage of the nobles safe, or try to. I hear them rolling up as I leave my room and join the rest of them in the dilapidated ruins of the throne room. Many wooden tables line the room, with many of the plague hearts, men and women, all enjoying spoils of war from a previous raid. Candlelight fills the room along with the smell of booze and pipes. Jobley and Jordan both walk into the room. Jobley with a rope in hand tied around a small man with black hair and empty eyes, who looks scared. Jordan following behind him with a young girl who has small wings on her back, or just a blue, but covered in dirt from a tussle. She put up a fight. Good for her, I think to myself, as chills roar over the room. So he Godric is opportunistic. He's not for or against them. He's just wherever is the best place for him to like survive is where he's gonna go. Wait, was it muted? Okay. Now here lie as a witness. Okay, so I hear them rolling up as I leave my room and join the rest of them in the dilapidated ruins of the throne room. Many wooden tables line the room with many of the plague hearts. Men and women all enjoying spoils of war from a previous raid. Candlelight fills the room with along with the smell of booze and pipes. Jobley and Jordan both walk into the room. Jobley with a rope in hand, tied around a small man with black hair and empty eyes, who looks scared. Jordan following behind him with a young girl who has small wings on her back, her dress a blue but covered in dirt from a tussle. She put up a fight. Good for her, I think to myself, as cheers roar over the room. I know I don't describe the wings, but they're supposed to be swan wings. We're going to party well tonight, my men. He yells, going up to the throne. Jordan walking past me to a prison cell no different than many of the rooms, but with bars as a door, and places the girl in, nodding at me as she walks back to the main table up front, where most of the higher ranking, more experienced of the traffickers of the plague hearts rest. The girl never struggled. She peacefully went into the cage. She now walks forward, calm, and stares at the feast as I am, my back against the wall next to her cage. So this is how you live, she asks cautiously, but I'm not willing to speak with her. Watching Jobly taunt the man up front, giving him the usual chair, the throne of the forgotten king. This was my coachman. She looks at him awkwardly as I still glance at her. Something feels off as I notice bright pink eyes. Even her hair is pink. But is he describing the princess? I think he is. I forget all that. I haven't looked this over or edited in a while. Let's see. Searching my own mind for any scraps of knowledge, something stores, as I don't recall any noble woman that we know of or that we'd ever target as having such striking features. Jobley laughs as he takes a bottle of wine from the main table and walks back up to the coachman. Share a drink with us. You won't be harmed, and neither will she. We just want the coin as ransom when we turn her in. The man looks odd as well as his mouth comes unhinged and outspouts two round eyes on stalks, the face like a hood as it drapes backwards. There is a moment of silence as we all look at the curious creature. Jolly then laughs. A mimic. A mimic has found its way as a coachman for all. He rises a bottle to his lips, taking a sip before staring back at where I am. Godric, is that who I think it is? I stare longer at the girl as she stares back at the man who was her coachman. By the king, she's the princess. How did I not notice that before? Jobley laughs up front as he brings the bottle up to the mimic. Playful little creatures that take on human appearances, but quite mindless. Jobley, how did that mimic it? Jobley, how did that mimic it to be a coachman? I have to ask. Beats me, he laughs, pouring the bottle's contents on the head, or what could be the head of the mimic. The room roars with laughter as I glance back at the princess. A concealing magic was used, I say as I raise my hand up to my eye, using it as a scope as I look over the mimic, but beneath the human skin it looks nothing like a mimic. As I'm about to speak out loud when I stop myself, staring hard. You're afraid, the princess says as she looks at my trembling hand when I bring it back down. That isn't a mimic. Even I know about such a senseless monster. I'm surprised by her reaction. I think the princess says that. I would say something, but if it's something that can harm us, my best bet is this was a trap set by the king to destroy the plagued hearts, and if so, I need to keep the princess safe. So he is basically thinking of himself right now. He knows that to survive he needs to keep the princess safe, basically. So again, he's opportunistic. The skin falls down on what they believe to be the mimic as Jobley brings what is left of the liquid in his bottle to his mouth and drinks it. Everyone else groans silent as I think everyone here now realizes that this isn't a mimic. Drawing his sword, he takes it. Drawing his sword, he takes a step down from the stairs to the throne. The form rises into the air, towering 20-some feet above us, while its eyes on stalks blink, and it leans, and its lean form bends as if it has no spine. Before leaning backwards, many arms, which were wrapped around itself, unfurl in segmented parts. A long, lengthwise mouth with blistering blue lips open to reveal jagged teeth. Jobley, Jordan yells, coming forward from where she is sitting as a blue tongue jets out, wrapping itself around our leader and bringing him into its body, closing its teeth with a brief yell of surprise from Jobley before an audible crunch as the monster's lips close and around him, his arms and sword being the only thing that doesn't enter the body and soon falls to the ground with a clink on the hard stone floor. The princess screams as I go for her cage door, and the others all charge the monster. One eye watching the fight, my hand scrambles for the door to unlock it. The others see blood beginning to pour down the slit of a mouth, as now it's as the monster's mouth as it now segments an oval-shaped body with a mouth as chunks of flesh and bone fall from it. So it's like segmented in like a worm has like segments or whatever, and they fly around or something. The same lips, but with fangs, as they now fly to each of the individual people here trying to attack them. They'll laugh a wheezing high-pitched laugh that almost sounds like children as they bite into individuals, their body freezing near instantly as black liquid pours out of their mouths and nose. The veins along their bodies become invisible as the venom sinks in. Look out, the princess screams at me as I get the door unlocked and turn around, an ice port ready and launching those ones and launch through one of the flying segments as I take her arm and flee. The room in utter chaos as I know this is the end of the Plague Hearts. I find my way to the stables and all the horses have already been killed as I see on the horizon as the sun begins to dawn in the nearby forest the Swan Legion flying our way. A lance of 20 knights on purebred Pegasus is coming for the princess. And that's the second chapter. So we are on to the third chapter. The Queen's Persuasion. So by this point, Godric has now joined the Knights. So I'm basically, well, whatever. He's now with the Knights. He's now with the Swan Legion because, like, I haven't done the in-betweens yet. So this is where we're at. So the usual Godric's perception. So, and by this point we find out the name of the princess, which is Princess Maeve. Princess Maeve by my side, we make our way for the Queen's chambers. I've been told she has a request for me, which involves the Orblin. Rather, it involves my request to slay it. Something I would like to do to rise my ranks here in the Legion. And the Queen wanted to wait, but now she requested my presence, and Princess Maeve is joining us. I am about to knock when she answers. Maeve, stay there. I must speak with Knight Godric alone about this matter. She looks up to me, her pink eyes showing a longing to stay by my side. And while I'm grateful my job does come before us, in my eyes, it's how I keep us alive. So I nod backwards, asking her silently to wait outside while I speak with her mother alone. She submits and I enter the room. The room in candlelight as night is already upon us. I greet her, kneeling before where she sits. One arm across her chest, palm open over... he's talking about himself. So one arm across his chest, palm open over my... One arm across my chest, palm open over my chest. Whatever. My heart beating beneath the fabrics of commonweal here at the palace. Plus I'm off duty, so he's not in his usual knight attire. Her pristine white feathered wings close behind her. Um, as I glance up, her crown a blonde, braided hair tied in many lengths, her eyes a haunting blue, although they're barely open to gaze upon me. Rise, Knight Godric. Let me share with you some of my findings before you proceed with your endeavor, and also a favor. Why is that board? And why did I do that? Favor. There we go. I do as I am told, standing taller than the queen, she now needs to look up at me, such as her daughter has to, but she smiles gently at me. Folding her wings, walking over to a golden laid hutch of fine woods, she picks up a tome and hands it to me. Looking at it, it's small, a black book with gold numbers on front. I'm not skilled in reading, but I understand the numbers. They look like years. They're before my time by about 50 years. What is this, Queen Selene? A ledger that dates back to the last king, King Grain, she says, approaching me and opening the tome while it rests in my hands. Flipping through it, she's staring at it with the utmost grace. Something I know Maeve would look to match once she becomes queen, and we're planning to tell her parents soon. So I think I have it here. So they want to get married. I think it's not that she's pregnant or anything, but it's they want to get married. Her flipping stops at a page, and she now looks back up to me, her eyes kind, and she speaks in hushed whispers. These accounts here speak of a woman named Olivia that got scorned by the knights and was going to be brought back to the castle to be disciplined. King Grain was very harsh on his people. So this is referring back to the Birth of a Monster chapter, basically the prologue to this entire story. I've heard tales of his brutality, I answer, not sure what any of this has to do with my request to take out the Oblin monster. Helios, father, so Helios is the king, the corn king. Helios' father was a monster in human clothing. When he died, Helios took the crown, and I married into the family from the Eastern Kingdom. I may have to change that because she has swan wings and not like butterfly wings or something. Each of the 5 kingdoms in the story have different wings, kind of. She brings a delicate finger to a particular word in the ledger. This speaks of Olivia being caused by a mimic and changing into the Oblin that we're facing from the account of Squire Trove, Father Travis, your ranking knight, one of few survivors from that night. There we go. I'm not sure what you are getting at, my queen, I question her as she looks up to me. I would like to request a favor of you, Godric, and this is between us. The king wouldn't look favorable upon my request, but I must try. I'm staring down at her, this petite woman asking a favor of me, which I gladly do for her, but what? She comes closer, closing the book in my hand, leaning forward like she's a caged animal, but excited about this request as her face flushes. I would like you to accompany me to the Oblin. I would like to try and heal the Holocaust. If I am able to, then we'll be able to heal all those caused by the plague hearts and them trying to overtake our kingdom. So this inner conflict and whatnot. I have to I have to back away at this point. The horrors that I've heard about the Oblin, the idea of even being able to approach that thing without a platoon of knights would be madness. And yet she wants us, just the two of us, to go and greet this thing. My queen, you can't be serious about this. She only needs to stare at me, unblinking and determined. She's been caged here because of Helios. She wants some freedom of her own, even if this is a reckless idea. You could die. Yes, and I could die doing nothing all day here, she retorts. Godric, I know the monster from the books and the many deaths that it has caused, but if I can heal her, we'd have one less threat, and there are hundreds of monsters we could even heal. A number of monsters. We could even heal the rocks or the mimics. No, I say softly, hoping that Maeve isn't hearing any of this. I grant you that we know where the Oblin now comes from, but it's crazy to think that the rocks or even the mimics are in some way human. Do you believe our Pegasus could be human? So he's trying to argue with her. We all eat, breathe, sleep, poop. She says shyly, why wouldn't we all be human? Why aren't we all human? I don't know, I answer her. She quiets down and goes back to sitting at her desk, mirror in front of her as she watches me from the mirror now. Before I allow you to kill that creature, that human, I would like to try and heal it. Gather a small group, fewer the better. Tomorrow, I'll be waiting with a small carriage. We'll go out and I am expecting you to protect me while I try to cure Olivia of her ailment. Should I fail, you are free to do what you will. I nod, staring back at her over her rings and tone. I will see to it that you get a chance, my queen. My husband will know nothing, she demands before I reach the door, and I nod. He'll be none the wiser, my queen. So, I've left Maeve in the dark as I ready myself, figuring Travis is the only other person I need to take with me. While I don't inform him on everything I just mentioned, it's a request from the Queen and he accepts. We meet in front of the castle's back entrance, a place to use in case of attackers. There sits Priest Gideon, reins in hand, in what could be considered armor under his outer layers. He stares at us as we approach. He appears scared. The door opens at the side and the Queen mentions for us to join her. We do, and the carriage proceeds forward, 2 Pegasuses guiding it as we feel the cobblestone and then nothing, weightlessness taken to the skies. Travis stares at the Queen, as do I. I want to. She holds up her hand. This is a great chance for us to learn about the course that is used to create these things. Travis remains stern. You need to know we could all die doing this. Godric is right. Godric is right to have us not bring our personal amounts. We can cast spells to boot those 2 Pegasus should things fail. To boot. I don't know. Let's see. I understand your concern, but if we don't try, I wouldn't feel right about just allowing you to kill it. You believe in your words, your magic that much, I ask her, and she nods, while I shrug. Queensleen, you're as crazy as your daughter. I laugh at this, which Travis is silent, startled by my outward emotions, which I never shown to him. The Queen is humbled as we hear a knocking coming from outside. Then Gideon announces loudly as I peek my head out the window as we're above the sleeping Oblin. Miss Olivia, the queen requests your presence so that she may cure you of your ailment. Go lower, you fool. The queen looks out and sees how high we are, and I'm apprehensive toward the queen's command. We really shouldn't, Travis adds as he opens the side door, stepping out. Uh, Godric, I nod, opening the other side door as we both hang out and look down. The Oblin is steering, steering, and Gideon is shaking but proceeds. Is steering or seething? I don't know. Let's see. Land us. Both Travis and I look at each other, shaking our heads, but Gideon obeys and we land before the Oblin as her coils twist, so it's like a large snake. I can't see her face yet, and this is any of our first, and this is our first time seeing this thing. The queen pushes her way out of the carriage and stares at the creature. I don't see any of her daughters around, but we don't even know how they come about in the first place. I, Queen Celine, wish to heal you, Olivia. You have been stuck in this form for so long, and I can help that. Won't you heal me? She goes silent as out of the center of the coil, blistering lips and eyes on stalks, come the Oblin's face, her jagged teeth cutting into her own lips as she opens her large mouth, staring at us, so close to her. Queen, I whisper, I whisper, being closest to her as she starts trembling, staring up, as drool and acid falls to the ground around her. I would like a horrendous screech leaves the thing's mouth as the acid flies at our carriage, at my armor, melting it, and I use a whip-like spell to bring the queen back. Gideon uh, Gideon whipping the Pegasuses to get a move on. They fly towards the air at first, but then level out just above the ground as the Oblin charges us, one hand in front of the other, clawing at the ground and digging out huge chunks as it follows us through the woods. Out of its out of its skin, buds start to blister, and out of those blisters come the daughters that give chase to us as well, as I yell for Gideon to take us to the skies. But the Pegasus are scared. They remain running now. Travis, I shout, the queen sitting in the carriage staring blankly at nothing. I and Travis start blasting it with ice and firebolts. One of his ice bolts hitting the Oblin's left eye, making her squint, while the eye shrinks back into its stalk. Still it gives chase, and I send out a wide bolt of fire, trying to stop all her daughters from chasing us. The Pegasus still won't fly as the Oblin's form charges. Its face towering over us and coming close, its twig-like body enlarging, stretching and becoming a blur of gray, its body becoming more defined and its lips peeling back to reveal large and thicker fangs. It breaks over the firewall where most of the daughters halted. Travis, I yell. Gideon, use the fucking air. He yells at the coach. Oh, Gideon, get us into the fucking air. They won't, he shouts back, clearly panicking himself. 1 second. I glance back in and see that the queen has fainted. Clearly she wasn't prepared to face this thing, nor did I think this would go any other way. She had a convoluted idea of how monsters were, only ever seeing the daughters and thinking them cute. Glancing now at the stunned Pegasuses, I echo my words. I feel them leaving my mouth and soaring through the air towards the Pegasuses and into their very mind. Like I feel my word rattling around their mind, demanding them to act. Fly now, I demand, and they take off finally. Below us, by mere inches, come out concentrated gas before it erupts into fire, and it drags its head back and forth over the force that surrounds us moments before, igniting the force around them. Yet we're now high in the air, and the Oblin's form reverts back to what it was before, looking around confused as to where we went. Travis is the first to close his door, taking a seat across from the passed out queen, but helping her sit correctly as she has fallen to the ground in the stagecoach. I stare longer at the Oblin, my mind buzzing, something I didn't notice until now, after we were away from the beast. But even that is diminishing. My son, I hear, through the buzzing, as if that thing has telepathy. Get us back to the castle, I yell at Gideon. I wet myself. I close the door, shaking my head, the poor man. Taking my seat next to the queen, I stare at Travis, who gives me a smug smile. Went about as well as I would have expected. How you enjoy your first look at the Oblin. I pull off my helmet and stare at him. Does the Oblin have telepathy? Did it speak to you? I stare at him for a while, pondering if what I say next is relevant to anything. It's not, and I shake my head. Nothing more than the ramblings of someone who's gone mad. He nods. Still, it's good information for us to jot down. So, that is okay, I wasn't gonna put that back. But that is basically 3 chapters from Death Calling. It is now the 4th book instead of Last Fall being the 4th book. Last Fall is going to be the sequel and is going to be far longer than what this book is going to turn out to be. And this is only the 1st part. There are 2 other parts to the entire story. So it's going to be not just as long as Last Fall, but it's going to be pretty long. But I wanted to share this with everyone, of which there are zilch at currently, but I'm sure in the future people will come back and watch these, maybe. But the 3 chapters of Death Calling, the 4th book in the series, the Last Fall, and that's kind of it. So I mean, I have a lot of chapters already written out, but I wanted to, because I haven't done anything with the book in a few weeks or so, I wanted to get this out and promote it in some way, shape, and or form. So YouTube, like, share, subscribe, Twitch, follow, and have a good evening, good day, wherever you're at. And hopefully people who hear this find it exciting. It's supposed to be, basically it's going to be an R-rated movie whenever it gets to that stage. Possibly crowdfunded, I don't know yet. But we'll get there when we get there. So that's about it. If you enjoyed the story, give me a like, and we'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.